Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in today. What I got for you today is an unboxing of a AK-74 parts kit from Centerfire Systems. As you saw at the very beginning, this kind of alludes you to what's in here. This is not your typical 7.62 by 39. So I'm going to set that aside. Not AIM Surplus. Centerfire Systems has these for $770. I want to say they did a YouTube video back in June where they basically kind of unveiled, hey, we got these in, blah, blah, blah. But they weren't saying much about the kits. So the problem is, they were only saying, hey, these aren't manufactured in Florida. So that gives you an immediate, basically it gives you an immediate cue into what are or where these kits actually came from. So a lot of people were concerned, well, did these come from IO Inc., aka Royal Tiger Imports, yada yada yada, because honestly there's a lot of heartburn over the cast AKs that they built, as well as cast component AKs they built, as well as the quality of them themselves and them as a company. And they kept assuring over and over that, hey, these did not come out of Florida. However, I did some investigation on this because I wanted to know for myself, and no one's got a YouTube video out there, which was driving me absolutely nuts. I was thinking, well, somebody has to have bought one of these somewhere, but no one has apparently. So I'm going to tell you about it today. So here's the story. Called up Centerfire Systems. I asked them, I said, hey, I'm very interested in this kit. Where did they come from? I just called up a guy. I'm not going to disclose his name. I don't want to get him in trouble in case he can't disclose those things. But the person informed me, hey, these are actually Riley Defense parts kits. And so then my next question was, all right, so did you guys do the head spacing and assembly, or did Riley Defense do the head spacing and assembly? Initial assembly, population of the barrel, whatnot. And he said these were actually head spaced and populated at Riley Defense. So that answered my questions. So I was like, all right, sounds good. You guys may not like Riley Defense. That's your own prerogative. But I will say this. You're not going to get a cheaper AK-74 unless you go the PSA route. And now they do those horrible looking AR Magwell AK-74s. I'm not even going to get started on them. Their other AKs are very nice. I just, if it's going to be an AK-74, it needs to be a Bulgarian style, Polish Tantal style, what have you. There's just something inherently wrong with throwing a AR mag on them. But anyway, so without further ado, we're going to get into this. Like I said, these cost $770. I know AK-74 kits are insanely expensive, and the supply of Bulgarian ones, or the cheap Bulgarian ones, that you saw of yesteryear, yeah, good luck finding them. You can get them. Don't get me wrong, you can get them. But they're going to cost you pretty much your firstborn. So, what I also did was I ordered some more parts with this. We may look at them here in a moment. But primarily what I wanted to get into was this kit. You guys might recognize some of this furniture. We'll talk about that maybe if we have time after this. I'm going to get all this other stuff out of the way. And we're going to get this thing out of here. I'm sure that is going to be my cleaning rod. Little baggie of parts, as they allude to in the video, plus your populated head-spaced barrel. Alright, so we're just going to, first, I want to look at the barrel. That's the most important component. I'm sure you guys would say that as well. So, let's get this off the table. I want to take a look at this. I could not find my Requiem Arms alignment jig. I have no clue where it's at. I've got stuff crammed everywhere, and I just don't know. I was going to use that in this video to make sure that everything was populated correctly, it was properly aligned, looked good, but I'm going to eyeball it for the purposes of this video. Sorry guys, I wish I could give you a more thorough, I guess a more thorough look at it. Okay, so here we have it. And by the way, these are on milled front trunnions, milled bolts, and milled bolt blooper. These are actually forged trunnions, forged carriers, and forged bolts. Let me get that right. Wow, man, having a tough time here today. So finish looks pretty good. You will notice there's a little bit oddball looking finish on this gas tube. I don't know if that was because maybe this came from a Bulgarian kit. I'm not real sure. But you will notice, obviously, it's got that muzzle brake. Let me take a look at this off camera real quick. You know, from a part standpoint, it seems to as far as the sight tower, the rear sight seems to be in proper alignment. Let's cut this zip tie off. Oh, that's a nice feature. Well, you guys can see that. We got a chrome line barrel. At least it appears to be chrome line. Set that right there. Let's see. Let's go ahead and get this bolt out of the carrier. You know, I'm not going to say these are the most beautiful looking AKs. A lot of people complain about quality control issues, machine marks, etc. It doesn't look terrible. You know, obviously make sure you get all the grit cleaned out of it. It looks pretty good. There's your carrier. You know, typical machining marks in that channel there. But it doesn't look terrible. Piston's actually not wiggling at all, really tight, which it's okay to have a little bit of wiggle in them. One thing I do want to check out, I mean, everything else, you know, appears to be okay. Sorry. Okay, there we go. What I want to do, I want to see how that works with a bullet. Because, no, I didn't get my SIPS gauges ordered before I got this purchased, so big surprise there. So I would be checking with headspace gauges, but they did say you shouldn't have any issues with headspace. I do want to see if this closes, you know, with a bullet. It should. It's a little tight, but you know, I don't have the force in an actual. I don't have the force to actually check it. I mean, it looks tight. I mean, you see me turning it. Starts to turn. So I'm not 100% certain here as far as whether or not she is actually headspaced okay. It probably is a little bit on the tight side. I would imagine they would be, but I really need to get a set of headspace gauges to check. But it doesn't look like it's, you know, too loose for sure, which could definitely be a problem. So anyway, fit and finish looks pretty good, like I said. Other than, you know, the gas tube looks a little strange. Looks like it might be a SERP, a mil SERP one. You know, you get your handguard retainer. You know, it fits in there just fine, like it's supposed to. One of the nice things is it does have bayonet lugs. It's not been neutered. Most often, what'll happen is, you know, if like for imported parts kits, what they'll do is they'll take and, you know, hack those off as part of the importation process now. But basically, you know, they have them. They've got your typical AK-74 brake. What's going to be in here is going to be your gas block. Or I mean, golly, I just can't even talk today. It's going to be your cleaning rod somewhere. Oh, that's a really big diameter cleaning rod. I would assume that's standard. So what I'm doing here is I'm checking my cleaning rod, the opposite end first. I do know on AK-47 the cleaning rod will pass all the way through the barrel, but for whatever reason only the threaded end would actually insert into the barrel. It kept hanging up on that shoulder, you know, which locks under your sight tower. And I have no idea why that's the case. You know, it appears as though this might be too big. I'm not really sure. I do not own another AK-74 to actually verify this with, and I've not been able to find a lot of information on it on the internet about it. So if you guys have any comments, please, by all means, let me know, because I'm at a complete loss here as far as whether or not this is the correct cleaning rod. My suspicion is that it may not be. Let's look at the parts. See what other goodies we can find. You know, I don't by any means profess to know everything about these, but I know enough to be dangerous. I know enough to know that that's not the right size cleaning rod. Small parts out. So you're going to have things like your trigger guard in here. This one is bent, but it's sheet metal. You can bend it back like I just did. Let's see, getting to the safety lever, oversized. Got the nice thumb portion on there. Some people like it, some people hate it. Finish is just fine. All these parts, finish looks fine. Trigger plate. You know, everything looks, it's not a wrap wire spring for your hammer. Everything finish wise looks okay. Dust cover, typical rib pattern, you know, pretty much standard. They do have cast rear trunnion, which most are cast, which is the forked style for your fixed stock. Let's see, pistol grip screw, which is parkerized. Let's see, what else have I got to add to this? So with these kits, you're not going to get a fire control group, but for some strange reason you get a hammer spring. Aim surplus, or not aim surplus, golly, Centerfire Systems also has Romanian semi-automatic fire control groups, which will run you about $10 or $15. You guys can correct me in the comments. Nice and cheap. You can add that to one like this because it is an all-American AK parts kit. Everybody, so in the first half of this video you saw that I was having some trouble struggling with getting the bolt to basically lock around in the chamber. I don't recommend you doing that. That's pretty dangerous. But I was doing it to see, well, how tight fitting is this? You know, they said that they headspace checked it, you know, all that good stuff. But, you know, I don't know about you guys, but I'm paranoid, especially if it's anybody messing with AKs, and for good reason, as we should be. You know, trust but verify. So what I've got here is around. I got to thinking about this off camera. I was like, well, let's put the bolt in the carrier, and then let's try it that way and see, you know, if it'll lock up. Because as you well know, this is a brand new AK. It's not even been shot yet. Your components really haven't had a chance to settle in, as with, like, you know, some of your imported AK parts kits. So what I'm going to do is, as you can see, I have it here in the carrier, and I can't stress this enough. Do not, under any circumstances, do what I'm doing. If you do so, you do it at your own risk. I assume zero responsibility. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to let this ride along. Stay away from the firing pin that's going to protrude out the back here. And basically, I'm going to see if this will lock up. You can see there's a decent gap here. She locked up. How do I know she locked up? Well, I heard that nice good click, and then you can see your carrier's coming to rest on your front trunnion. Let's see how easy it is to get it out. Once again, stay away from this part. Look at that. Comes right out. So I'm guessing, you know, with the additional leverage of having the bolt in the carrier and using that to, you know, basically chamber the round, I'm guessing that helps out a lot. So, you know, I'm still gonna headspace check this just to be perfectly safe, because, you know, I don't want this thing blowing up and, you know, my kids be fatherless and all that fun stuff, and once I finally put it together. But under initial inspection, it seems like it's okay. I think it'll be fine. But, you know, only a set of SIPS gauges will really tell the tale. So anyway, I just wanted to, you know, splice this video together, show you the second part so you know, for your own reference. If you guys like videos like this, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. It helps grow my channel. This is not being endorsed by Centerfire Systems, nor is it paid for. I bought this with my own cash, and you know what? I just like doing stuff like this because, you know, it bugged me. I was like, well, you know, what's the deal with this? You know, who made it? I wanted to find out. So now you guys know. So if you want to get one, and you're so inclined to do so, by all means, have at it. But like I said, if you guys like videos like this, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Share it with your friends. It helps grow the channel. And some point in time after I hit the 1,000 subscriber mark, I will do a giveaway that you'll see in another video of a basically a budget entry-level NV scope. One I got years ago, made by Yukon Outfitters. It's nothing special, but it's good enough to shoot armadillos and stuff like that in your backyard if they're, you know, causing a menace in around your house. So anyway, everybody, thanks for watching, and have a great day.